Hello everyone, it's Angry Birds Freeze King, and as you can see here, I have a Westinghouse light, but I also have another Westinghouse light that's even cooler, and it is this one right here. This is a Westinghouse OV-10. This street light is mercury vapor, and this uses 250 watts. This street light came around in the late 1950s and was replaced with the OV-12 in the 1960s, but this is technically one of the first generations of the small OV lights, I would consider, just because. And it has a really unique shape too. Back in the 50s, there were a lot of lights. They were referred to as clamshell style lights, and I say this is kind of an era when the old round style lights kind of transformed into the modern style lights like we see today. Of course, not like the LEDs, of course, they're even more modern looking, but you guys know what I mean. Anyway, a little story on this. Like my American Electric light that you've seen in my other video I just made, they were replacing this light. Now I've been seeing this light for years and years, and there was actually another one that they had replaced a while ago because it just went out, I guess. And this one still stuck around, and they have been replacing some of the streetlights with LEDs, and this is one of the streetlights they replaced. And I've kept an eye on it for quite a long time now. And since they were replacing it, I knew how special it was by this point, and I decided that I would get it. And I did. So everything is original except for the light bulb. The light bulb is new. I don't know. I think they took it with them, but the photocell and everything else is here. So now, let's go over the light and see what we have inside. Now, one thing I'll mention real quick before we actually look at it. Now, everything is in good condition except for this right here. Now, this has been on the light for years and years and years, and these holes actually come through the other side. Now, I don't know what this is from. I don't know if someone shot the light, but it actually, if I take a really long screwdriver and stick it in, the holes are actually parallel. So I don't know if someone just stabbed it twice because they were mad at this streetlight, or if two arrows shot through it, or I guess if someone shot it. But unfortunately mine has these holes, and you can definitely tell they went through because they suck in the aluminum and push it out on this side. But other than that, this light works, and I'm kind of curious to know actually if this had water leaking in, because from the top side you can definitely see that water could easily get in, but hopefully not. Despite the many years that it's had those holes, it's been working perfectly fine, so yeah. Anyway, I'll tip it on its side real quick and show you a couple things. So, one thing to note, now, there are remote ballast versions of this light. So, this is just a photocell version of the light. So, this and this can actually come apart and detach. So, it makes it really nice to clean. Here we have our clamp mechanism. Now, the clamp's very simple. There's just these two, sorry about the lighting, but there's just a U piece of metal screwed into the light right here. And then we have a bolt down here, and one that you can clamp on the top right here to the arm. It's a very, very simple. There's something I really think you can do to actually adjust it up or down, but yeah. The photocell right here, this is a newer one, of course. This was put in I guess 2018, apparently, from what the code date is saying, and this is just another one of those DTL photocells, and these are what they usually put in brand new, so not too exciting there. But our photocell socket, of course, on the lights from the 1950s are still adjustable. Now, however, this light is pretty old since it's from the 50s, so this what you do to make it so you can turn it is you unscrew the screw in here. And as you can see, I've tried to unscrew it, but it's just stripped out terribly. So this is stuck shut, and I can't turn the photocell. I would like it to face towards the back, but as you can see, it can't go all the way back. But I guess it's okay. It's a very nice thick light. This aluminum is real thick. I don't know how thick it is, but if you guys have seen the back arch right here, you can definitely see it's really thick. You have a big Westinghouse logo on top, and you got the, well, that's just it in words, but you got the logos right here, and it was made here in the USA. Really awesome. Coming down to our bottom side, I'll try to flip this light over. Nice cheek. Here's that clamp. Here's the clamp right here. You can see moving in the middle. You have your all your units are stored under here, and what you do is just unscrew these screws, which I'll do in a couple minutes, to show you the insides to access the inside. And they are Phillips head screws, and I don't know. I didn't know they used Phillips head. I don't know if these are replacement screws or if these are the original, and they look like the original, but these screws did come with this light. Moving on to the front. Now, the refractor door assembly is actually pretty complicated. It's not terrible, but it's very strange. So to open up to replace your light bulb, what you do is you unhook this latch right here, which actually curls around this ring. If it's not curled around, you try to clamp it, it's not going to shut. So you unlatch this latch right here, take that off, and then the refractor, the glass refractor, it actually doesn't move with this. It kind of does actually, but as you can see, it's kind of coming out. This is just the ring, and our refractor door here just kind of comes out. I'll set this aside and we'll take a look at that in a second. But your refractor door, the actual door hangs up on this hook right here. And then there's a little kind of like a tiny clamp. This is really the only one you have in here that kind of holds it in. And then you just set the lens in it, and then you close it like this. And like I said, you have to have that hook curled around this ring. You close it right here around it, and boom. It is shut. So it's a weird design. I don't know why they decided to do this. I mean, I thought they would just mount that on, but actually it's probably not actually a bad design. It's probably good in case you have to replace it. But anyway, so that's how you take your refractor off, and you can take this ring off if you want. In here is our light bulb. This is a new bulb. It is actually a slight bit broken on the back, and I think I just heard another piece of stuff come off it now. Anyway, here's our light socket right here. It is pretty dirty, but I have cleaned it as good as I can, and since this is from the 1950s, the socket is not adjustable. But like some of the other street lights from this time, you really don't need to adjust it. This is just a Phillips 250 watt bulb, because this is what this light runs on. And the refractor, technically the outer shell of this light is the refractor, and since this bulb gets very hot, one thing I learned is you actually can't touch the top, like the refractor on it, because that actually absorbs the heat and gets hot. So when this light's on, you can't touch the front part of the street light at all because it's too hot. And that's actually kind of good, because if we ever get like heavy snow or anything, it can easily melt the snow off, since snow is heavy and it kind of shouldn't be sitting on things. So yeah. Anyway, here's the refractor right here. Now, this may look like a standard small luminaire refractor, but if this does break nowadays, I can't get a replacement for it because it's a lot flatter on the top than normal ones. So this is non-replaceable. But that's not important anyway, since this won't get broken. As you can see right here, we have the Westinghouse logo. The refractor has lots of reflection pattern on it to help disperse light. And it is a very, very thick piece of glass, and it definitely feels high quality. You can feel all those details on the inside right here. Most of them are on the inside. But yeah, you can see, if you really look at the detail, the way it has the light being dispersed is very good. Right here it says Street End. You got Westinghouse style, and then you got your number. And then you got House End, just kind of a marking to tell you which way to face it. And this is a halophane lens as well, and they still make halophane lenses, they just don't make these ones anymore. Anyway, you got other things that I don't really know what they mean, but yeah. Here it is on the side. It's a very thick piece of glass, like I said, and it feels very high quality, so nothing makes the quality better than having the logo embossed on the lens. So yeah. Anyway, let me put this back on real quick and we'll look at the insides of this light. Alright, the glass refractor is on, and now I will go ahead and open this up. I'll also videotape me unscrewing. And one thing I'll mention as I'm unscrewing the cover on the bottom of the light is I know a lot of people, I know some people, you know, they say, you know, you should leave the lights the way they are, you know, you should change them up and try to make them new. Now, with my streetlights, I'm definitely going to keep every one I have I get in my collection at their original state. They're going to all run the original bulbs that they were made for, and that is that. I am not going to change them to LED, I'm not going to upgrade the ballast or anything. But one thing I will do on at least most of the ones that I can is sand the shells down and repaint the lights and give them really, really good cleaning. Because one thing that I think that does is definitely help to bring the lights true beauty out. But for this Westinghouse light, it's really, really dirty, and it would really take a long time to clean, and I can't even paint it until I actually clean the light. But since it is a really old light and it's kind of shown a lot of wear and tear, I think I'll leave this light at its original state of design and look. I won't change the color on it or anything like that. So I'm sure that pleases a lot of you people. But anyway, so you unscrew those 4 screws and then you can just kind of pull this right off. One thing I really love about the inside of this cover is you got this really nice big tag on here. It says Westinghouse right here. You got your logo. You got your light type. It's a OV-10 luminaire. Now the line volts for this light are 220 or 240, and you might be thinking, well, Angry Birds, if you're going to test this, how are you going to hook it up to 240? And I will show you that actually when I get to lighting it up. But continuing on, you got, you know, your all your connections, blah blah blah, I ran at factory, all that factory stuff. You also got your graph right here that shows you how it's hooked up. Got your transformer, you got your lamp watts, 250, you got your lamp type, you got your lamp volts, line current, and your all this other information. So it's a really nice tag, and luckily for the most part it is kind of ripped at the bottom, but you can see all the readings on here, and I'm surprised of how clean this is for the time that it came from. So one thing I really love about this light is the tag on it. However, this piece of metal, I think this is aluminum as well. This is very flexible. I could actually probably bend it in half and break it. So this is probably one of the low points of the light, but it's okay. It's fine. It doesn't really matter that much, but I think if you're going to use it in the field, you want to make sure to be very careful with this. Anyway, let's look at the inside of our light. Oopsie. So as you can see in here, we got our terminal block right here. It's really cool, and it's actually made of ceramic, just like a lot of things were back before the 60s came around. For your 240 volts, you're going to hook up these 2 lines. You got one 240 volt wire, and the wires are very strange, and I'm not going to bend them too much because they're probably very fragile. Your first line right here goes right into your transformer, and then your transformer goes right over into your socket. And if you're wondering what this line right here is, this it says 220 on it, and up here it says 240, and it also says lamp on this tag up here on this wire. So right here is if you want to hook it up for 220 volts, but since I'm not going to, I'm just gonna push it aside. The other hot right here actually goes up to your photocell, and then you got your red wire, which comes out of the photocell and actually splices. This is a really old wire nut, so I assume they probably used this on here. Splices right here, and then goes into your light socket right here. So yeah, and then of course your photocell needs a neutral, so you got your neutral right here. And since this light is hooked up for 240 volts, you don't need a neutral coming from your socket to your block. So that's the only neutral we need. Another thing I can show you too, one thing that really makes it nice if you need to clean the light is you can really take everything apart. You can take the sockets screws out, you can take these wires off, you can take this refractor door out. There's 2 bolts up in here that you can unscrew, that take it apart. You got nice big screws. If there's one thing I really love about the older electronics from this time is you can really take everything apart and clean it. You know, so that's one nice thing about getting really old stuff is you can really take it apart and clean it, and you can totally make it look like new. As where nowadays, everything is kind of static and solid, and you really just can't take it apart, so it makes it much harder to clean. But anyway, now that I've shown you that, let's go ahead and turn this light on and watch it in action. Before we start, I will show you how I hook up my streetlights to 240 volts. Now, most houses only have 120 coming in, but that's actually wrong. You have as much voltage as you need coming into your house to do technically anything, but since I don't have a 240 volt outlet to plug in anywhere, what I like to do is take one cord, plug it in here, take the end of the test cord, hook it up into one of the hots, and then take another hot with a neutral and plug it into a different outlet on a different circuit. And then from there, you actually do have 240 volts because these outlets run at 120, and if you times 120 by 2, it equals 240. So that's actually how I get 240. Now, I've seen a lot of people who don't have 240 in their houses or don't know how to get it, and then they'll modify these lights and change them, which they probably really shouldn't be doing because it's ruining their history. But just a little tip, if you want to do 240 and you don't have any other way to do it, get some test cords, like get 2 test cords and find 2 different outlets that are on different circuits and then hook them up, and then you got your 240. Anyway, let me hook this street light up and we can all watch it turn on. Alrighty, we are all hooked up now. So all I gotta do is take this photocell out, turn all the lights off, and I can plug it in. So let's go ahead. It looks really, really, really pretty up against my insulator shelf. Anyway, got one plug. Of course, the light isn't doing anything because it doesn't have the correct voltage going to it just yet. And now we got 2. Got 240 volts, but it doesn't officially work just yet because now I gotta hook up the photocell. Sorry for that awful camera shake. So here we go. Alright, this is Westinghouse OV-10, 250 watts mercury vapor in 1, 2, 3. Has a little bit of a hum to it, but for an old light, it's actually very quiet. Alright, we are at full brightness, and as you can see, if you look up here, you can see those little bullet holes, or whatever you want to call those, at the top where the light is actually shining through. It's actually kind of neat. I never really saw them at night until I actually got this light, so it would have been kind of neat to actually see those at night up on the pole like that. Anyway, it is a very, very bright light. And it is actually much quieter, let me flip the camera, when it's at full brightness, and I will pick it up and show you from the side. Look how bright it is. Oopsie. I apparently I accidentally activated the photocell from the light shelf. Well, that's okay. We all saw how bright it was, so yep. One thing real quick to mention before I go is this little 2019 Duke sticker. That's just one of their stickers that they like to post on their streetlights when they've been when the bulbs have been replaced. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some interesting streetlight information out of this. I know I did. And yeah, if you like this video, please subscribe for more. I will be doing more videos on my streetlights. In regards to other videos, I do have some other streetlights in my collections. I'm sure if you are all streetlight fanatics, you know what these are. Really awesome streetlights. I have a Westinghouse over here that you guys saw at the beginning of the video, and some more streetlights right here. If there's a specific streetlight that you would like me to talk about in another video first, please let me know in the comments, and I'd be very happy to do that for you guys. Some streetlights that I'm thinking about doing next is this one, and totally this one right here. Those are my next plans of videos. But if there's another streetlight you see in my collection right here that you'd actually like me to take a video on rather than some of the other ones that I've just showed you, please let me know down in the comments and I will totally do that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, this is Angry Birds Freeze King, and I want to let you know to have a good day. Bye.